Welcome, Tradespooners, to tonight's pick. We are going to be looking at a pick for February 13th, 2014. We're going to short a bearish position in Titan Machinery, ticker symbol TITN. Taking a look at our proprietary pick ratings, the risk reward is at 4, so it's in that mid-range, and the value momentum is 2. So we want to be aware of the fact that the value momentum is on the lower end of the scale, which is going to potentially affect our sizing, and we'll get into that when we talk about the picks directly. Take a look at the in-depth analysis report. This will just give you the insights on the fundamental and technical components that we looked at and discuss in much deeper fashion about tonight's picks. Let's take a look at the price action. TITN closed today on the 12th at 1650. Off its 52-week highs at 32 and just above those 52 weeks of 1419. Volatility, implied volatility is up 100% from its 52-week lows. So there is a heightened expectation of movement. And we'll take a look down in the key events section in just a minute to see why vol is at a 100% level. What that means is implied volatility is up 100% from its lowest level in the last 52 weeks. It also means for you option traders and stock traders, there is a heightened sense of potential volatile or violent moves at this juncture. The return on capital for the option strategy is 100%, and the probability of success right now is being rated at 70%. We priced in an estimated move of $1.20 going into March expiration. So let's take a look at the stock trade. We're going to put a sell short stock on TITN. And we're going to put that price in at $16.50 or better. So we're going to sell short at $16.50 or better. When we're filled at that, we're going to put a target gain $2.90 lower, which is basically going to get us out right around that $13.50 level. And again, you would just put a buy to close or just a buy at $13.50. Good until cancel. You'll simultaneously put in a stop order to buy to close at $2.90 higher, which basically would get you out at $19.50, would be the level where you would put a buy stop limit, where you would put the buy stop at $19.50, and it would trigger a buy limit at $19.50. Now again, use prudent size management. We suggest 3 to 5%. And when you see these fundamental and you see these ratings, the risk, reward, and value momentum at that mid or lower end of that range or scale on the pick ratings, you might want to skew more towards the lower end as far as percentage of buying power cash available you put into the position. Now speaking of that, let's take a look at the options trade. We're going to be buying the March $17.50 puts. Now we're going to put an order in at a limit price of $1.55. If we're filled, we're going to put in a profit target above our purchase price of $1.55, which is roughly going to get us out at around $3.10. So we will put a sell limit good till cancel at $3.10. We are willing to risk the whole debit that we're purchasing these puts at, or $1.55 or $155 per contract. Again, use prudent size management when you're putting on this position. No more than 2.5%. Tops 10% if you're going to get aggressive. But again, I think with the ratings where they're at right now and volatility at its peak, you need to be very careful about your sizing. The option spreads trade. We're actually going to be looking at a bear put spread. We're going to be buying the $17.50 puts that expire in March, and we're going to pay $1.55. Now, to offset that purchase price, we're going to go in and we're going to buy the March 15 puts, and we're going to sell the March 15 puts. Sell the March 15 puts against the 17.50 puts we bought. That's a $2.50 put spread, and we're going to collect 25 cents for that. So net, our total debit is going to be $1.20. That is the risk that we're going to have on the trade. Now, if the stock is at or below $15, we'll have the maximum profit, which is the difference between the strike prices, $2.50, minus the $1.20, which is basically $1.30. Now, we're going to actually put an order out there if we're filled at $1.20 on the spread to sell this spread at $2.40. So we'll have a sell limit, good until cancel, for the spread to sell at $2.40 or better. Now, as always, if you've never traded these particular strategies before, you're new to Tradespoon, use our proprietary virtual trade to start working out your risk, capital management, and your understanding on how to utilize these particular strategies. You see the stock chart. The stock has come off its highs recently and has now been basing, had a little upside, but sitting at that resistance. And you can see we actually have some Fibonacci's in there and our moving averages. Looking at the key stock events, you can see that the stock is trading above its intrinsic value, but it did miss its earning estimates for the past 4 quarters. We want to keep that on the radar screen. Now, I do not see that there are any earnings in this particular cycle, but we need to keep an eye on that to confirm that. So always check with your brokerage firm to see if there are earnings for TITN. And in news and commentary, we can just break down what we've seen and the valuation and so forth that we see about the company, as well as other information about what sector and so forth they're in. All right, well, that is today's pick for February 13th, 2014. We're looking to short Titan Machinery, TITN. And if you ever need any help, you can email us at info@tradespoon.com. And next Wednesday, we are going to be doing a webinar. So keep an eye. If you're not on the webinar list, email us at info@tradespoon.com. We're going to be doing a webinar on debit and credit spreads. So this particular spread right here is referred to as a debit spread. This is a bear put spread. We're going to discuss the components of this trade and the mechanics of why we would look at a transaction like this so that you can better understand the logic chain of how we use in our analysis, how we come to this conclusion using the technology, the proprietary technology of Tradespoon, but just understanding the logic chain of how we would pick a strategy of that nature. So till then, we will see you tomorrow, and thank you for listening to tonight's pick of the day. Take care.